and they have banned me multiple times for smoking on air. And then I always forget that I'm not allowed to there. You know what I mean? Like, because so many places have different. So I feel his pain. I've been banned for dumb reasons. So
if you're desperate to watch Ryback eat or battle Elmo on TikTok Live, you'll have to follow his nutrition account.
God,
and I ban him on his nutrition account too, just because I'm an asshole. If I was in charge, you just expose where you're going to go live from, even though you got banned. Yeah, you're getting banned there too. Fuck you.
They don't care.
All right, Al, it's yours for the next 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes?
We're running long tonight.
Former The Bump host Matt Camp claimed on his wrestling match show that WWE only wants fans at post-event press conferences and wants to make them a part of the show to avoid disruptive questions being asked of talent in Triple H.
You say this doesn't want or does want fans?
They do want. So they want like marks like us who have little tiny podcasts that they think aren't going to ask disruptive questions like Sean might or some of the other guys.
Well, then give us media access. And stop giving it to all the big followers then. If this is what you want, make it happen.
Cam, what were you going to say?
There is, I forgot, but they have, it's not that they have a sneaky link, but you can apply for media credentials for almost all of the pay-per-views. It's just really hard link to find, you know, and the second I found it, like the deadline was already kind of like, you know, passed, but they are available. But it's hard to get access to it. You kind of got to be in the know. Then you still have to get like selected and stuff.
And the other issue is the people who know where to find the links
won't tell you, or maybe you do.
It's hard because you and Ricky's this is the tough situation behind it. Those of us who have the link and know how to apply understand how many people there are in that pecking order. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's that, I don't know. It's like, I've talked about it on TikTok when it comes to like your sources and stuff. You can't out your sources because then they become everybody else's sources too, or they stop talking to you. They stop giving you, there's all kinds of things that happen. If you give these links to people, your competition becomes exponentially harder because everybody knows where to apply now. You know what I mean? It's like this double-edged sword where it's like, it's tough, man, because I've never gotten credentials. Like, I'm hoping SummerSlam is my first pay-per-view, and I'm crossing my fingers and my toes and having Bo and Owl and everybody that I know cross their fingers and toes because I might get in the room for SummerSlam. I was on a waiting list for Royal Rumble. You see what I mean? Like, it's tough. And I'm, you know, been published and I represent Last Word on Sports and the Sportster, and I've done the things and I do the dirt sheets, and I still, with that plus Botched Spots and Share Shots, still don't qualify for media credentials sometimes. Like, it's a tough fucking field, dude. It's hard to get them. And Bo's right. If they want to give it to fans, make it easier for fans to apply and make it a lottery. Like, that would be how I would do it.
But I like it.
Yeah, this is to be expected just because of the fact that, you know, the last couple of press conferences, they keep asking Triple H some not so great questions about certain superstars that get released and things of that nature. And he's probably tired of it. So he's just like, well, we got to get, you know, control of that and kind of control who we let, you know, amongst the media ask questions or whatever. I think I'll even go as far as to say they might even start like just scripting what they are allowed to ask and just be like, you can't ask this. If you are asked this, you are banned. No longer your passes are taken away. You are no longer allowed in the media press at all. I won't be surprised they start doing that, honestly.
Well, think about what happened after night 1 of WrestleMania. You had some buffoon, I don't even call him a member of the press, some buffoon boo Roman Reigns.
I mean,
absolute buffoon. Like,
here's the thing: if you're gonna have, if you don't want a shoot press conference, don't fucking have a press conference. I don't need some fake ass media scrum from any company about a previously planned outcome. If like a press conference is to answer actual real questions. Like,
Sure.
don't fucking have it. They're only doing it because AEW started doing it. And they're all shitty. Like,
to put it in perspective, and I don't mean to cut you off, I've done for the last year probably every media call that AEW's had for their pay-per-views. I've gotten to ask 2 questions the entire time I've done them. Like, it's tough, and I can't speak that enough. People don't realize, even in pro wrestling, when you get to a certain level, and I am nobody at that level, but I've been a guest at that table, and I can tell you, when you get there, it's cutthroat. Those guys don't give a fuck how many followers you have, because if you're sitting next to him in that room, that's one more person that might get to ask a question before they get to. Like, it's tough, man. And like, if you piss them off, you just stop getting invited. You know what I mean? And that's the very real side of it. If Tony doesn't like your question, you get pulled from the email list. You know what I mean? Like, it's a tough fucking world. I think that if you want to do the fans, do the fans. If you don't want to do the fans, then keep doing it the way you're doing it, and you just have to accept people are going to ask real questions. You have to hold the media responsible.
Yeah, you have to. If you're going to bring fans, it's got to be a limited number of fans. If you do all fans, that is absolutely going to be a controlled environment. Totally, WWE is going to be hands-on about what questions you're going to ask. If you do a mixture, I think, of quote-unquote professional media people as well as fans, I think the fans that do get into the room, or the people with podcasts who don't have giant followings like myself or you or any of us, if they do get into the room, you can kind of learn from the people who know what the fuck they're doing, and it kind of, you kind of really learn by osmosis there.
or if you're like, be open to answering shoot questions. Again, if you don't want to answer shoot questions, don't fucking do a press conference. It's just that simple. Like, these dirt sheets and the media that is in there, they don't write about the wrestling like it's, you know what I mean? They don't write it from the work position generally. You know what I mean? They write it from the shoot position. So of course they're going to ask you real fucking questions.
TNA, for instance.
Oh, go ahead, Will.
No. TNA, for instance, will tell you ahead of time you're not allowed to ask about anything outside of TNA. TNA related talent, storylines, what's happening on our screen in our universe. They, going into their media, spearhead that. They let you know ahead of time. This is all we want our talent to talk about, because we're allowing them to put our shit over. AEW, WWE do the same thing a lot of times. AEW has never told us in a media call ahead of time, hey, you're not allowed to ask about A, B, or C. Like, we've never been told things were off limits. But again, if you ask a question, you may get the no comment and then stop getting emails.
Yeah, it is a risk. I think, when you're at a press conference, most of these press conferences are thematic, so if you're at a WrestleMania press conference, it's kind of also like a quiet, you're kind of implied that you would ask something about WrestleMania. This isn't like the media scrum for Super Bowl Tuesday where they ask the stupidest shit in the world, like, what's your favorite Gatorade or whatever, or things like that. Like, these are kind of, I attribute these press conferences to like a press conference after a basketball game. Like, for instance, Dallas won last night. You ask, most of those questions are going to be asking about the game or things surrounding the game. That's kind of the implication of it. If you're at an event, you're talking about things that happen at the event or surrounding the event. So yes, it's kind of a shoot, but there are kind of quiet implications about what you would ask at these press events. Like, if I'm at a WrestleMania press conference, why would I be talking about SummerSlam from last year?
Agreed.
Moving along, Steve Borden, Sting's youngest son, who played football for the University of Kentucky, and Wolfpack Sting for his dad's retirement match at AEW Revolution, is now training to become a pro wrestler. What do you think of baby Sting taking over for daddy?
It's gonna be tough for him, because I think that's why we don't see I mean, we see a lot of, second generation, third generation superstars, especially in this era. But I think that's the reason we don't see more of them is because some of them, so the ones that don't decide to pick up wrestling and do other things outside of wrestling, and they do their own career path, is because I can't remember who said it, but it's because of the fact that when they get into it and they start training, they're looked at differently from other trainees. They're like, oh, that's Sting's son. Oh, that they get treated differently. And some of them don't like that because that's a hard shadow to try to get out of and be looked at as I'm not just Sting's son. Like I'm my own person, and I want to be my own wrestling, personality, entity. I want to have my own aura going into wrestling. I don't want to just be looked at as Sting's son. So it's going to be tough for him to try to really get out of that shadow. I think he'll do great. Obviously, just the small little spots that he had in Sting's last match. I'm like, he's got the athleticism down for sure. So I'm definitely curious to see that, that develop for sure. So, but it's going to be tough for him just to be able to get out of Sting's shadow for sure.
Yeah.
You have to work harder than everybody else.
Yeah.
I really hope he does his own thing, like his own gimmick, and doesn't just try to like take over the Sting gimmick. Like AJ said, like Charlotte when she first started, people still give Charlotte shit all the time and don't give her the roses that she deserves because everyone's like, oh, she's only getting these opportunities because he's Ric Flair's daughter. No, fuck you. Charlotte's good in the ring.
She also is getting those opportunities because she's Ric Flair's daughter. Like there is the "I'm the Charlotte Flair" clause that WWE use out all the time.
Yes and no. She still has earned them. She's still really good in that ring.
I
you can't deny that her moonsault's a bit, but she is good in that ring, and she works.
Because Tiffy arrived, that's why.
We don't talk about Tiffany Stratton on this show.
It's the prettiest moonsault ever. Seen it.
Well,
we don't talk about Tiffany.
I think Christopher Daniels would argue that.
Yeah. Ultimo Dragon. I mean,
I'll still go with Tiffy.
They literally named a moonsault after that man. So I mean, like,
me.
Yeah.
After Tay Mello posted Tay
Mello.
I want to call him Tay Mello Guevara posted on Monday about getting back in the ring for the first time since giving birth to her daughter. Fightful Select confirmed that Mello is training again, but reports haven't heard any imminent plans for her to return to AEW. Do y'all want to see her back? Do you care? Have you missed?
I mean, I don't really care just because I don't really think she's going to make that much of a splash in the current landscape of the division right now. I mean, she's not. She's just going to be on the face. They brought back Red Velvet after like 2 years of being gone because she was hurt, and they've done nothing.
No one knew
Red
she
Velvet.
was gone.
Exactly. Nobody knew she was gone. And then she came back
just showed up. We're like,
yeah.
Oh shit! They're using Red Velvet tonight. That's cool.
They bring her back and they're just like, oh yeah, here's Red Velvet. She's been gone because she was hurt for this time. And then they had her on TV for like a couple of matches, and then where's she been at last month and a half? No one knows. That's what I see for Tay Mello. Like she's gonna come back and be forgotten in a month.
Well, Red Velvet did do an indie show here in Jacksonville not too long ago, so that's something, I guess.
Yeah, no, I don't care. It's just like she's there. Like, hey, like you mentioned Tay Mello. I was like, oh yeah, she wrestles, right? Like that's where she is. Like she's kind of there. They had the whole Edge and Lita thing with her and Sammy Guevara for a while. Where's Sammy Guevara, by the way?
I think he's suspended.
His suspension
Would
got
be the
lifted,
first time. Yeah.
But he's also, I'm pretty sure, still banged up or recovering from an injury as well. It wouldn't surprise me if we maybe see those two come back together.
For sure.
But it's like, it's whatever.
Deadline claims that Cody Rhodes has joined the cast of a Naked Gun reboot, but he'll only be making a cameo. So he's not like fully in the movie.
So he's full blown going whole ass Dusty Rhodes then. If he's taking like bullshit comedy, like cameos and like that's it.
Well,
like,
he's been doing it for years. He was in Arrow.
Oh yeah,
he was an Arrow. Yeah,
he is embracing the Rhodes name. Yeah,
he was pretty badass in Arrow. I liked him in the original.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I saw the clips. I was like, oh wow, he's really.
That's the reason he came back and fought Brody with black hair.
Oh yeah, because he had dyed it for the show and shit.
He had to dye it for his character in the show, and he didn't have time to re-dye it blonde before their match.
Cody's a brunette, just so you know.
Yeah, but he had dyed it like straight, like
I
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
like black, yeah.
No,
I
it's good. Cameos are
apparently
good.
didn't realize that like Cody and I, like when we moved to Georgia when I was 17, like apparently Cody and I like lived down the road from each other. No fucking idea.
They went to rival high schools.
Yeah.
Like her high school and Cody's high school played each other every year through her high school
I've
career.
seen Cody Rhodes play high school football.
No
Was
idea.
it good?
Couldn't fucking tell you. I was in marching band. I didn't actually watch the fucking game.
That was like
that
that's
makes
like,
sense. Okay, I understand. I totally.
that's like Wyndham playing at Troy when
Yeah.
we were in college. Like Bray Wyatt playing for Troy football when we were in college, and we saw him play every year we were in college, and we were like, "The fuck." Like really? Like
It's like my cousin. My cousin was like, I know, like Braun Breaker came on. She goes, "That's not his real name." I went, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Of course it's not." She goes, "No, he went to college with me."
Yeah.
I'm
Like I
"Shit."
had a buddy that I worked with when I worked at a named cell phone carrier who like they were on the Lassiter football team together.
that's cool.
Anywho, Fightful mentioned that Kenny Omega had surgery for his diverticulitis on May 16th. He is expected to require a lengthy recovery process. So, well wishes to Kenny Omega.
Yeah, diverticulitis is the son of it. It almost killed Brock Lesnar in UFC. So take your time, Kenny. Take your time.
The site also says that WWE has offered Natalya a potential contract extension, but no deal has been signed yet. So they haven't offered to redo her contract, but extend her current.
I mean, fine. Her best work is in NXT for her entire career, which is sad. Listen, NXT Underground, that NXT Underground match was fantastic. I love
It was though.
Do you still have access to those stats?
No, I have no idea where they're at from a couple
What, for
weeks
the boat?
ago. No, it was the one I used. I had a graphic for it. It was like she was in the first Divas Championship match. She was in the first
Yeah.
SmackDown Championship match. She was the first Saudi Arabia match, the first women's blah 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 match, like all of this. She was a Divas champion, a SmackDown champion, tag champion, like all of Natalya's like accolades throughout her entire career.
Yeah, I mean, like we're talking about. I think we're gonna do like a whole show about it, but like Mount Rushmore of jobbers. Like you have to have those mid-card people to like lift up the other talent, and like. Natty's a fucking workhorse and people sleep on her. Yeah, she's not the fucking best, but like she has a good attitude. She helps out, like, stop
She's
hating
female
on Natty.
Miz.
Yeah, stop hating on Natty.
I love me some Natty. I don't know what TJ was doing on that first season of Total Divas. You know the episode.
What the fuck is this episode tonight, guys?
No, my thing with Natty is they don't let Natty do what Natty needs to do, because like Natty learned to wrestle in Japan. Natty likes to hit people, and they don't let her hit people a lot. They let her do it in NXT Underground, and she was all the better for it. But at some point, you got to let Natty loose, but they haven't done it in years. She doesn't utilize all of her skill set, especially on the main roster.
You have to let Natalya Neidhart do Natalya Neidhart things, which sounds oddly fucking similar to what they had to do with her dad before he really hit his stride. They tried to make him work like Brett, and he couldn't. And when they finally realized, okay, this is the fucking heater, he's the big muscle of the group, and they let Neidhart do his thing, he really found his stride. And I think WWE had a taste of it with Natty, but they never really take the reins and let him run. The same thing with Nia in her first women's championship match. They forced her into the babyface. You had talked about that earlier, I think.
Yeah, it's a great story. She can't sustain as a face.
No, fair. WWE has abandoned an attempt to trademark Big Time Bex. So either Becky's going to be taking an extended break after she loses this cage match tonight, or she's going to completely change gimmicks after maybe a shorter break.
Wait a second. When you say cage match tonight, is there a cage match on Raw?
Yes,
There's
is
a cage match tonight, yeah.
Tonight on Raw between Dave announced it on tweeters. Becky is invoking her
rematch clause on Liv.
Clause with Liv.
Contractual rematch clause, yep.
And they are having a cage match tonight on Raw.
That's kind of dope, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think they're not pursuing Big Time Bex as a negotiation tactic.
Maybe.
I think this is if I was a negotiator and we need Becky back, it's not like I think Becky's going freaking anywhere at all. But this is kind of a sweeten the spot. Hey, we won't copyright this. You can take Big Time Bex as long as you resign. That would be my tactic. Like, I'm not pursuing this just to sweeten the pot.
Or she might just be going a different direction with their gimmick, and they don't need to spend the money on the trademark.
True.
Who knows? On the Von Erich's podcast, Marshall Von Erich said that he and brother Ross have been in conversations with both companies. Kevin Von Erich's sons say they haven't signed anything, but good news is coming. It's a good month to be a Von Erich. You better knock on some fucking wood, motherfuckers.
Wow.
I wasn't going to say.
Wow.
I wasn't going to say. I was thinking it a lot.
That just happened.
And
their granddad, like, they've seen the movie, right? Like they know
lived it, right?
Like,
we've seen the dark side of the ring. Like, we know what happens after a while.
Like, you better go see some voodoo priestesses.
Yeah.
Some make sure some curses are lit. Like,
the reason why your dad is here is because he left the business.
Yeah. Didn't he move to Hawaii? He was like, I'm out.
He pulled a Tupac before Tupac.
Yeah.
He did. He bounced.
I'm
He went to
gone.
and now he hangs out and gets stoned and plays in waterfalls and shit. And you're like,
barefoot all the time. Yeah,
this is an NWA champ. Like, what? He's doing what?
If there is some sort of competition for the Von Erichs, I don't know what company they're better off in. Like, I honestly don't know.
I feel like for safety reasons,
WWE.
WWE.
yeah, there you go, right there.
But we saw how they handled the fucking Texas tornado, right? We saw what they did with Kerry when he went to Connecticut. Oh, yeah. No, wait, you would know because all they gave you in the fucking Iron Claw was a 15-second SummerSlam clip from 92. Like, no, they gave us nothing because that's how, meaningless his WWE run was.
Vince is gone, so I feel like they would
Also
be
true.
safe under a Triple H regime and maybe not set on fire by Darby Allin.
Yeah,
Darby's not setting everybody on fire. Just the
Darby's
dude
gotta
who
look
ran
both ways
him
when he
over with
crossed
a
the
bus.
street.
Listen,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes set himself on fire in AEW right before he left.
But in the
That's
words
not
of
fair.
Mick Foley, think about the pop. And him and Andrade blew the fucking roof off of that place in that match, dude.
I mean, let's face facts here. Cody Rhodes in AEW was a completely different animal. Like,
Yeah.
he was crazy.
Yeah.
Diving off cells and stuff like that.
Cody and
He's way
AEW
more tame now.
thought he had to do all that crazy shit when in reality he doesn't have to do all that crazy
Right.
shit.
That's why I'm saying, they don't need to go to AEW.
If you ask Cody Rhodes and Dustin, him and Dustin and Earl Hebner will all three, because of that match right there, they saved pro wrestling. And they will tell you that. They mean that to their soul. They think that match at the original Double or Nothing saved wrestling.
I mean, interesting take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the original Double or Nothing. Somebody in the chat will probably correct.
Wasn't
me.
that all? Wasn't that the original All In?
No, not the first All In with like Ray and MJF and everybody coming over and like no, not that All In.
I thought it was All In when he was like, "I need my brother." He was like crying.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I think that was All In. I think
was that All In?
That was All In. Yeah,
that was All Out.
All Out, the first All Out. That's what it was.
All Out,
yeah,
All In.
All In, whatever.
All Out or Double or Nothing. I knew it was.
It
one
was
of the
Ring
first
of
two
Honor in
WWEs.
disguise. Damn
it.
It
was
Everybody
all
knows
something.
it.
I don't know what the other word was.
And
all
now
Ring
we've
of
got now AJ's like, no, you're right. It was the original Double or Nothing. None of us fucking know.
I don't fucking know.
It happened the first year AEW had wrestling, and they said that match saved wrestling. When they got all bloody and beaten up and shit, it wasn't the moonsault off the cage match, though.
Listen, I can barely remember what I did last week. You expect me to remember something that happened 4 or 5 years ago? No.
If you go digging around in your beard, I'll bet you find random memories, don't you?
Ooh, a piece of candy.
Yes.
A piece of candy.
Oh, $5 bill. Look at that.
Mark Henry is leaving AEW. Cool.
I like
And
Mark
now
Henry.
the main events. That's all I remember. Thank you, Mark Henry.
That was awesome.
What's he? I know that he's a, we were talking about an off-air
Backstage
consultant and producer and all the things he does backstage, but he felt like one of those guys along with the Big Show. He was scooped up because they didn't want him in WWE. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could sign him, so they did sign him.
Yeah, that's true. I think Mark's coming back because there are people on the roster that need help and need new designs for their costume Street Profits. That's like,
oh, Bianca does their stuff.
Street Profits look like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey like sideshows. Okay, like they need to really change this.
Wow.
I love Montez. I love Montez and Angelo Dawkins. And Angelo Dawkins trolling Montez for an entire SmackDown on Twitter was one of the greatest things ever.
I have this really gut feeling. Angelo Dawkins is going to be the Butch Reed of that tag team very soon, and that breaks my heart. Like, I'm sorry. I think Tez is a bona fide star. He's going to be a world champion in the next couple of years, and I don't know if Angelo Dawkins is going to be able to keep up with him as a singles competitor.
He's not.
No, unfortunately. And Angelo Dawkins is wild talented.
Yeah. I don't understand how Montez hasn't already taken off. I mean, I get they're still doing the whole Street Profits thing, and they gave them new direction, putting them with Bobby, right? But after that performance in the Elimination Chamber, what was that? A year ago, year and a half ago, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. Because after that, I was like, oh, it's
That's
obvious.
when everybody thought he was going to win the U.S. title, and that was going to be the start of it, right?
Yeah.
To me, I feel like that performance in the Chamber, he eclipsed Angelo Dawkins after that, to me. Because that just showed me he's a bona fide star. If I didn't already know it, you know what I mean? So
if you watch his and Bianca's show on Hulu, you should, because it's during that time period where he had that banger spot in Elimination Chamber, and then he talks, and then you see all the backstage stuff of them shitting on him the whole time after that. Like him and Dawkins right after that got called to Washington. They were on Raw at the time, but they told them they had them fly themselves because the talent has to pay for their own travel. Mm-hmm. They flew themselves all the way to DC from Florida for a show, and 2 minutes before they were about to go out for their match, someone from production came up and was like, "Hey, the last segment went too long. Your match is cut." But that whole show should really be named "Let's Shit on Montez."
Stick to your times, wrestlers. Stick to your times.
Montez.
That's crazy.
Montez should have had the rocket strip strapped to him. After the end of Raw, he won a match and he took a baby. Okay, he took somebody's child. All right. And the ending spot of Raw was a white child at that. He took a child, and he took a baby, and the ending spot of Raw was them waving to the camera by. It was so good. They use it as an opening part of their video package, and you still didn't give him a singles run? Come on.
So, that's it-ish for news and rumors. So we're gonna go around the ring here. And I'm going to start with Kim. I want you to name me your high of King of the Ring and your low. Like, what was your favorite moment, and what was your least favorite moment?
My favorite moment probably was obviously the spot I already talked about earlier with Logan Paul splashing Cody through the table. That was probably my favorite moment. My least favorite moment, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, but my least favorite moment was Nia Jax winning the Queen of the Ring. I'm not a fan of Nia Jax. I'm just not. I'm never going to be a fan of Nia Jax.
Ricky?
My high spot, because I'm not going to take Cam's Logan Paul. Nia Jax sat on a woman from the second rope. Okay. Full weight and everything. One of the greatest Yokozuna, and she did the Yokozuna Banzai pose. It was beautiful. I was watching by myself, and I yelled really loud. I was like, "Oh my god!" Because I thought she had at least broken 3 of Lyra Valkyria's ribs.
She broke Lyra Valkyria. Stop.
In general, like, my god. My least favorite moment from King of the Ring, because as of right now, I don't know what they're doing with it. Liv Morgan winning. I understand the logistics around it and why they had to do it from a contractual standpoint. But for me, I was like, are they about the Summer of Punk Liv Morgan's run? Because I thought there was more for this to happen, but we'll see.
AJ says my high was Nia winning and my low was the ref missing Randy's shoulders. So everybody boo AJ. Boo.
I mean, to be fair, Randy just fucked up the spot. His shoulders were supposed to be down. Like, let's not boo the ref for Randy fucking it up.
Wow.
Well, it's the truth.
Get your logic out of here, like you've said in on production meetings.
Although Triple H addressed it right afterwards. Triple H did address it right afterwards. So.
Because everybody makes such a fucking stink about it.
Everybody wants something to be something, so they thought maybe Randy's shoulder up was going to be an angle. Like, no, guys.
Like, no, he just fucked up.
Yeah.
Jax?
My high would be Gunther winning. I'm very happy about that. My low would be putting Jade and Bianca on the kickoff show. Like, I just don't understand it. That's my low.
Will?
My high, I think the right 2 people won the tournaments. Gunther and Nia Jax were both the right picks. I'm excited to see what both of them do with this now that they have it. My low, and this is just me, and I'm not trying to yuck any yums. I don't like that it was a Saudi event. I've never been a big fan of bot shows, and I definitely don't like the fact that, like, it's just not my cup of tea, man. Like, there's bigger things happening than trying to fake a weekend for those people with the WWE experience and taking them fucking Ferris wheels and stuff. So for 5 days, they can feel like they're in Philadelphia. And then when WWE packs up shop and leaves, they go back to the life they were living. It's like,
I saw those photos. Like, I think I'd rather
fake.
be there
It's
than
propaganda. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what it's like in Saudi Arabia for these people every day of their life. They get this for 5 days, and then WWE leaves, and then they have to go back to living that life. And to me, it feels like a lot of propaganda because they're building this up to be like, Saudi Arabia is this great tourist destination, you know? Like, no, it's not.
They did buy all of golf.
Yeah, like, it seems fake to me, and I'll just say it. And, like, I can get hate for that if people want to hate me for that. The Saudi shows all seem fake because I know they're bought. Those fans are there because the government told them to be there. They were loud as shit and blew the roof off. They did a good job, but, like, it's just not the same. If you're going to have those big moments like giving Gunther King of the Ring, do it in front of his crowd. Do it in front of the people that have been carrying him for the last year through his 666-day title reign. You know what I mean? Do it here. Yeah, that's just
You got to be World Wrestling Entertainment and go to other places in the world.
I know, Ricky. Get out of here with your fucking logic, sir.
I'm here all day.
My high was Nia winning the Queen of the Ring. All hail the Queen. She fucking deserves this. She's worked really hard. Like,
her comeback's been otherworldly.
yeah. My low was the triple threat for the Intercontinental title, because in all of these conversations that we have had about King of the Ring, not a fucking one of you mentioned this match, because nobody cares. Like,
Oh, I cared.
But here's the thing: nobody cares
Not as much as everything else.
Nobody cares about Sammy as Intercontinental Champion. They only care about the Chad Gable portion of this story. Like, Sammy got super over with the bloodline, and now they're trying to shove him back down our throats.
I'm on Team Gable for all this, just for the record.
I'm also mad at Sami Zayn, which we will not discuss, but he neither here nor there. Double or Nothing. We'll go in reverse this time. Jax, high and low of Double or Nothing. Or I guess I should go first. Just kidding, in reverse, and it would be Will. Sorry. My high of Double or Nothing was Mercedes' entrance, because it was really cool with the drum line. I love a good banger entrance. I see that face cam. I see it. Listen, I love a baller entrance.
It was a cool entrance.
It was a cool entrance. My low was the fact that they always seem to put the pre-show match is always a fucking women's match. Like, come on, guys. Just put it on the main card. Come on. Just do it. Will.
High, MJF's return. And then the low, I can actually tell you, it was that stupid triple threat match. The Hook, Jericho, Shibata match. Mm-hmm. Like, I did not like that at all. Double or Nothing high, MJF. Double or Nothing no, Mercedes winning, says Scowls. Who's next, Al, after me?
That would be me. My high, because it shocked the shit out of me, was Christian and Swerve. I thought they went out there and did a really damn good job.
That was a banger match. It's just not in the right position on the card.
No. I'm very proud of Prince Nana for being able to run with sagging pants. Like,
it's a thing. We all learn it. Cam knows.
Yeah, when he jumped over the guardrail, I thought he was going to lose him, but
it's a physics thing, really.
It's a physics thing. Okay. My low was the trios match. As much as I'm a bang bang gang guy, it just didn't get my socks off at all.
Ricky.
My high is clearly Mercedes winning. Like, come on. That's exactly what I needed for me to actually tune in to watch the event. My low was, I'm not going to say Anarchy in the Arena because that's a given. My low is Mercedes' entrance, and it's not the entrance at all. I actually like the entrance. Bianca Belair did it better at WrestleMania 38. But my low is that I hate her song. I don't like great. This. I get it. Symphony Number 9. Which is a great song. It's like 20 minutes long because it's classical music, but it is the CEO thing all the time. Like, it sticks for me. It's an earworm for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
like, it just doesn't sound great.
Like, your cousin is Snoop Dogg. You should have better music.
Seriously, I would rather see her use BBL Drizzy.
But do you know how much Snoop Dogg, how much he charges to have him be featured on an album?
First of all, they're family.
They're first cousins.
16 bars is $250,000 for him to spit one verse.
She has Disney money.
She does have Disney money.
She does have Disney
money. Snoop is so deep in bed with the WWE, he ain't touching AEW.
Well, did you see his elbow drop in AEW when they were in Jacksonville? That was
true. Too. He has done an AEW spot, so
it's real bad. It was real bad.
Who hasn't given double or nothing takes? Cam?
Yeah, Kev.
Cam, you're up.
So I'm not. The Mercedes one has already been said, so I won't say that. Anarchy in the Arena, I think it's. I mean, that's kind of a given too. I think. So my high, I think is just the entire barbed wire steel cage match. That whole thing is my high. Like that was good.
It was a great
The,
match.
the only iffy thing about it was I was kind of, and I guess that's just kind of the, I don't know, me being a violence lover, I guess. I was kind of hoping that the barbed wire was like, I was hoping like the steel cage was like encased in barbed
I was
wire.
looking for a lot
It
more
was just
barbed
like,
wire.
yeah, it was just like little
Fire.
strings here and there. I was like, oh, that's kind of cheap, you know. But other than that, though, it was a bloodbath. I expected that, obviously. I love the House of Black coming out. They teased like they were
The
going to
turn?
turn on Malachi Black, and they're like, nah, we're just messing with you, bruh. So I love that. I love Gangrel because I had talked about this on the Boom on Wednesday. I said it would be dope if Edge comes out and he has Gangrel with him, because that's what I was hoping that he would have done when he was still in WWE, when, you know, he was coming up from the floor and he had the Brood entrance and things of that nature. I popped when it said the Brood on the Titantron. I'm like, whoa, can they use that? Like, is this safe? Like, are they going to get sued? Like, that was crazy. So I popped. So that whole match, I think, was a high for me. A low for me, again, like I said, we're going back to the Anarchy in the Arena match thing. A low for me probably was it's probably a toss up between, again, like hanging someone upside down and just leaving them there, and then probably setting someone on fire. Like, it's just that match, like the dangers in that match just kept going from worse to worse to worse to worse. It's like, are we trying to send someone to the hospital with like a serious injury? Like, this is getting a little
and
bit
it was
scary for me.
awesome.
So
it was sports entertaining as fuck, Cam. I was sports entertained, bro, the whole time.
I don't know. So that's a low for me. So
All right. Well, that's all the stuff I have.
Okay. I said 75 minutes and we have been talking and I love it. So I'm going to hold you guys to it, okay? The whole point of this, and I put it in the TikTok, so we have to do it. Guys, I want to know, who are the 4 best people to ever win the King of the Ring tournament, with it just being this weekend now? We don't have to go into any lengthy details or discussions about them, but I'm curious to know because it's been such a hot topic the last week. We can go in whatever order we want to. Bo, your hand went up first. Do you have your